right now I'm training to break the Guinness World Record for longest duration hula hooping. And I'm part of the training is doing this street performance, 8 hours a day. I pick a location and set up and go for it continuously without breaks. I haven't done it every day so far. That's my goal for the performance. But I've run into some challenges, like financially. Like I'm trying to do as a street performance, but you know, it's a lot of people just aren't really like, I don't think they're used to seeing street performers and just haven't been making a lot of tips. I've been like tipped by like bums that are like pushing their cart of aluminum cans around, you know, like I've had street people bring me sandwiches and things like that. And I met this one guy who was really fascinated by the record-breaking part of this, and he's like, I could break the record for world's most flexible man. And he just starts like doing all these like kind of like stretches like with his neck and whatever, and like he does this thing with his back. And it's like, you know what? Another thing is, I don't feel pain. And he like punches this like metal like street light, and it like rings, and he like leans over. He's like, yeah, it's still ringing. I help run a gallery space downtown called Skylab. I've been booking shows since I was 14. So I help out with other people who are touring, like creative people. You know, I do some construction, and I worked as a computer-aided draftsman for a few years outside of high school. I drew the Cleveland Browns, detailed all the precast concrete for the Cleveland Browns stadium. So I have had to like work and do other things for money, and it interrupts the flow. So I just had a knack for hula hooping. You know, I was pretty good at it since when I picked it up, and yeah, it just feels good. And I'm a performer. You know, I play drums and and scream. You know, get real into it. I like to be real physical and just put everything they have into what I'm doing. I'm into endurance and like challenging myself. And I think it's a good like challenge to do something for a long period of time, both physically and psychologically. Like I'm gonna have to make some transformations within myself to be able to do it. The record is 90 hours. Okay. It was set by Roxanne Rose in 1987. Well, the act of hula hooping is pretty easy. Like there's like a kind of a natural rhythm that you find, and kind of my goal with it as far as record setting goes is to like minimize the amount of movement. The difficult part is definitely like just like being on your feet for that long a time. I've also had issues with like going to the bathroom. Like sometimes like I don't take any breaks, and I know that like when I go for the 90-hour record, that'll have to be resolved. I've done some brainstorming about it so far, but don't have like a solid solution. But you know, like the feet thing, like I've found that I need, like I got this rubber mat, which definitely helps, and I have to move my feet around a lot. And if I stay stationary, then my feet just swell up, and by the end of 8 hours, they hurt pretty bad. I wanna do it at COSI. I haven't really like organized that with them yet, but I think that'll bring everything together. Trying to do it before the end of the year. It gives me about 6 months of training time. As I want to do it as, you know, I want to do it this year because it's 20 years ago that it was set, so it's kind of like an homage to Roxanne Rose. The financial problem, like the financial situation, is a real challenge to it, because if I want to have a real concentrated effort in the training, I'm going to need some financial support. And I have been talking to some people about sponsorships, like kind of like, and I've been researching the human billboard concept. So I'm definitely interested in that. So like, you know, if there's, you know, I'm interested in looking for sponsors. And at this point, even like a PR company would be good, like someone that wanted to help, because like in conjunction with this whole effort, you know, in realizing how much exposure that I have doing this public performance, I've seen that I could potentially do a lot of good, like with charities and things of that nature. So I picked a national charity, or a international charity and a local charity. I'm still working on figuring out the national charity. So like I want to be able to like do this performance and kind of like, you know, instead of like having tips like for me, which is what I'm doing right now, just to like support my efforts here, the tips would go to charity, and it would act as an awareness and funding effort for different charities. My international one is pretty pop. It's Doctors Without Borders. I just think they do awesome things for people that like war-ravaged countries and just impoverished people all over the world. And the local charity is Challenger Baseball, which is an organization run by the parents of children with autism or who have brain damage, and they organize like a baseball tournament for them every year. So I'd like to go into that, and then I'm probably also going to do something with on the national level with children as well. So you know, I want to do some good in the world. Like I'm interested in like changing the world. Like I think things are really pretty awful. Like if you really look at it and like just filter through what's going on. Just things are in a bad state. You know, there's war and people dying all the time, and I think people should, you know, take efforts to do what they can to help make things better, and that's part of what I'm doing too. It's just like inspiration kind of hits you. You have an idea and just go with it.